Welcome back to my channel, guys. Jimmy High Roller here. First, I want to start off by saying thank you guys for the support. You know, we're almost at 20 subscribers. That's pretty cool. So we're going to start the road to 50 right now. Hopefully we can reach our goal in a short amount of time, but honestly, I'm happy with what I have right now, and that's thanks to you guys. So today we're going to be going over some more Apex Legends, as you can see right above me and the picture behind me. Obviously, we are going to be going over the characters. We're going to be going over why I use them, how I essentially feel about them, and if they're useful in arenas. And that's something that I stream on Twitch. If you want to give me a follow over there and watch and hang out with me, the link is down below in the description. So we're just going to get right into the video. I hope you enjoy. Okay, first up is Bloodhound. Now, Bloodhound, in my opinion, is a meta character. His tactical ability, which allows him to basically ping all the enemies in the way that he aims it through walls. Doesn't matter. I'm not 100% sure how far it goes. I don't have the stats on that. As well as his ultimate ability is useful. And his passive is good, but I don't think it's necessary in arenas. Also, the footsteps don't reset after each round, so when you switch sides, you'll see the footsteps, which I think needs to be changed. Next is Gibraltar. Gibraltar is a good character. I like his ultimate ability. It's good for small zones against teams that want to wait you out and just try to catch you in bad positions. His dome, very useful. His gun shield is okay. I personally think it's pretty easy to break through. It just takes a couple more shots. However, his fortified perk, which is reduces incoming damage by 15%, is very useful. So he is a very good character to use. Lifeline is super broken. She's super OP at the moment, in my opinion. Her passive is combat revive, which basically means she can revive any enemies with her drone, just her drone that comes out. She doesn't even need to put down a heal drone. She can just fight while the person's being rezzed. It's super OP. I think they're going to need to change that to make characters feel a little bit more balanced, and my suggestion would be to force her to use her heal drone. Like, she can only pick you up if there's a heal drone down and near you that she can connect to you so that you get picked up. Her care package, ultimate ability, not useful at all. Got to remember to get the golden backpack, which when you pick up enemies, they respawn with half shield, half health. Pathfinder is a situational character in which he can be useful. He's useful on the new map, the garden map, very big, very wide open. He can get his zip line or his zip gun ultimate ability every round from the beginning, and it's only 150, which is super cheap. A lot of the good teams, or the better teams that I have been playing, have him. They get to the zone, or they get to the middle of the circle super early and just shoot down, especially with that hill being a big advantage. Wraith is a decent character. Not great, not super OP. Haven't found any good reasons to use her ultimate ability. I guess it can get you in and out of gunfights, but you are losing a fighter when she's making her portal. So, I mean, there really hasn't been much use for her. My teammates don't use her. I don't use her. I use Lifeline personally. But her tactical Into the Void, I think, is very good. It just gets her in and out of damage. Her passive, which I believe she hears voices when she's being aimed down on. In this game, the time to kill isn't super high, so I don't think it's crazy overpowered. It's not like if it were to show a sensor as to where they were, I think that would be a lot better, make her a little bit more useful. But I don't use her. Bangalore is okay, in my opinion. The passive double time, very good. She starts getting shot at, runs away, puts smoke down. You don't know where she goes. Other than that, I mean, I see people really misusing the smoke canisters or the smoke launcher. They try to, my boy Fred, he was trying to use it to push, but you got to realize, like, if you're using it to push, your teammates can't see either. So if you run her with Bloodhound, I can see her fitting into the mold. Other than that, I don't see her working out that much. I don't like her ultimate ability But it would be good for last zone, kind of like Gibraltar. Hopefully there's no inside area in the last zone. But very few teams play the waiting game. But teams do play the waiting game, and it can be very annoying. Caustic is a situational character in which he's only good on a few maps, and you won't see him anywhere else. So in Thermal, when there's that middle point, you can just throw it down inside. Most teams, I should say, like to push into that middle building, try to get the fighting done. It's usually quick matches. Him having the gas canisters can disorient people, it can slow them down, it can do damage. Also in Thermal, you can put the gas canisters underneath the floor in that little middle section of the pillar that goes straight up. You can put them, you could throw them underneath, they'll spawn in. Also, he has fortified as well as Gibraltar, so it takes 15% less damage, which always is a good thing. But again, he will only be played on very few maps where getting inside and those gas canisters can be used. So Mirage is another character that I think is overused. I think a lot of people use him. He can be good. I get that he can be fun. His ultimate ability, which just sends out a ton of mirages, I think is okay. His ability to control the decoys, I think, is very awesome. It was something when I first started playing this was not something that it was just a mirage that ran out there. And then when I picked this back up for arenas, I saw that. So that can be useful. Now, I think the most underused way to use Mirage is as a healer type, someone who he goes invisible. So that's his passive. He goes invisible when he's picking up a teammate. I think that's a very good ability that's underused. A lot of Mirages like to play aggressive or play as a DPS type of role. But I think if he were to hang back, send decoys out, pick up enemies, get the golden backpack, I think that's probably an alternate way that you can make him fit in. Octane, I see a lot of people using Octane. He's a very underrated character, I think. I think a lot of the better players use him. He's very crackhead type. He runs super fast when he's stimmed up. When he doesn't take damage, I believe it's randomly starts to med himself. So he starts to heal up, which is a very good one. And again, the jump pad, more expensive than the Pathfinder's zip gun, but still also very useful for the bigger maps to get into the zone quicker to use for the teammates. But it is double the points of Pathfinder. So I personally value Pathfinder a little bit higher because of those early rounds where he could just buy a zip gun, where you might need to spend that money elsewhere on the early rounds. Watson, we're not going to go over her. She's useless. Crypto, I do see a lot of teams, a lot of the better teams, I think the more coordinated teams can get away with using a Crypto. I personally don't like him that much because you kind of have to sit on the surveillance drone in the beginning, which puts your team at a big disadvantage. However, he can get off fairly quickly. He can leave it in the sky. And then the EMP, I think it's okay. I mean, it slows players, destroys traps, but it only does 50 shield damage. So if the players don't already, I don't know. I don't like it personally. I don't like him. I think he's just okay. Revenant's another good character. I wouldn't call him situational. He can be used on any of the maps. His silence ability is very good. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that disables the passive, so he could be someone that could be used to counter Lifeline's auto revive. But his death totem, I don't see it being used very often, and the only time my teammates ever used it, we ended up losing that round 3-0 because they just pushed around, destroyed it, and then blasted us. Loba, I think she's very useful. I don't like her passive. It doesn't help you out at all in arenas. However, her tactical is very good. Can get you to the zone quicker, can get you out of fights. Her black market boutique. Now, I have a problem with this. I like it, and sometimes I'll throw her jump drive out ahead at the start to set up a black market boutique. But For some reason, if an enemy gets there while you're in there, or if they beat you to it, you just can't use it. It becomes completely useless, and you just wasted the 400, I think that it is, on it. So it kind of hit or miss. But again, I still like her as a character. I think she's very useful. Rampart is the next character. Her amped cover shield, I believe, I would say is just okay, because sometimes you can put it down and it has the least amount of health once you're putting it down, and a lot of people know that and they shoot it out. Whenever we play against the Rampart, I think players think that those shields or that cover is just gonna save them, and it doesn't, and they end up getting melted. So don't be that player. If you use her smart. Use the cover in unique situations. Don't just throw it out there and think that it's going to save your life, because it won't. Her ultimate ability, it's fun. It's very fun to have basically a Gatling gun and just spray and pray everywhere, but it's mostly useless. However, her passive is helpful. It gives you a little bit more magazine capacity. I don't think it's a crazy amount, and a faster reload. Horizon I've been seeing used more and more in arenas. I personally don't have a problem with her. I think she can be useful. Her tactical gravity lift is very nice, especially on the new map that's in rotation right now, the Garden, which can help her and her teammates get up to the buildings very quickly, very easily. And then she has reduced fall impacts. Now, I haven't really tested that out. I don't know how much it is, but I know that fall impacts can really get in the way of you trying to get away from an opponent, or you just trying to make a play on someone. So that seems to be very useful. The Black Hole, again, is another fun ultimate, but for me, never really works out. Uses someone that I enjoy playing with. I have fun with him. His passive, which can get him, I believe, double the amount of grenade, is super useful, especially in arenas, but can come with a little bit of a drawback when you have those grenades out and you only fired 2 and you still have 4 more. I get, at least personally me, I get into the habit of just, I'm getting rid of them all. I don't care. I'm not switching my weapons. Can be played differently. More effectively, I should say, but nevertheless, that passive alone makes him very useful, as well as the extra knuckle clusters, which he shoots and then they just explode. So if they're behind cover, you could just shoot it in front of the cover and they'll take a little bit of damage, maybe make them panic. So I use him to back up enemy teams or stop them from pushing. His ultimate ability, it sucks. Valkyrie is another character that I see used a lot, but I feel that she may be overrated. On the bigger maps, her ultimate ability can be useful to get you into the circle early, as it just launches you in there and shows your enemies and where they are. But that has a cooldown of only being able to be used every other round. Whereas, again, Pathfinder or Octane, their ability to get you to the circle quicker is every single round. It doesn't have a cooldown. I believe that Octane's is more expensive than hers, but Pathfinder's is cheaper than hers. Her missile swarm, feels like it can be random sometimes on how quickly the mini rockets get to the location in which you're shooting them, but it is a pretty wide radius. So like you knock some shield and you see them take cover to heal up, you could shoot it out there, force them out. So I like that. Her jets, it's very useful, but when you're flying, and I see a lot of people make this mistake, when you're flying, you're completely vulnerable. If you don't have that missile swarm, you are 100% vulnerable. And if you do have the missile swarm, you're 90% vulnerable. You can't shoot when you're flying. That's my overview of the characters. Those are my opinions on them. I hope you enjoyed this little insight on what I've learned through arenas and how these characters should be played. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoy the content, leave a like. If you have any suggestions on which game I should play, which game you want me to cover, or what you want to know in Apex, and I can maybe make a video out of that, please let me know again in the comments. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you to everyone that did subscribe. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. And that's it. Peace.